from the Red Sox. Their team is very, very well put together, and I wouldn't be surprised if they won this division. So I'm going to put the Dodgers in the playoffs. I'm going to put Colorado at the bottom, San Diego right next to them, Arizona third team, and then San Francisco makes it into the playoffs as a wild card, and then the Dodgers make it into the playoffs as the division winner. Let's talk quickly about the Central Division. Cubs, nothing different. They were terrible last year, 66 and 96. I wouldn't be surprised if anything changes, although I think they're in that slow, steady progress. I don't expect a playoff berth from there, and in fact, I don't even really expect for them to change their division standings at all this year. Milwaukee, on the other hand, is a little bit surprising. I know the whole Ryan Braun situation was hanging over their heads, and he wasn't exactly able to play for all the games last year. Regardless of, regardless of regardless of PED use or whatever else, he's still an excellent player. And if he's playing, then that team's going to be better than 74 wins. So I'd put them at about 80 wins this year. Cincinnati is a team that is surprisingly consistently, just a nitpicker in the St. Louis division, the Central Division for St. Louis. For some reason, they're just always there, and I never can understand why. I know that Homer Bailey plays well, and a few other guys for that team play well, but I'm still surprised by how good they are every year. I don't know. I just can't get behind Cincinnati very well, so I'll put them at 85 wins. Pittsburgh, on the other hand, is very good. I can't believe they won as many games as they did. But if Pittsburgh played in the Western Division, they would have won the division. I think Pittsburgh is the other team that makes it into the playoffs this year, as a wild card, and of course I think St. Louis is the best team in baseball, best farm system, best starting lineup, best everything. I would put St. Louis as the winner of this division. So in rankings 1 through 5, I would put the Cubs at 4, Cincinnati. I would put this exactly the same way it was last year. Cubs at 5, or Milwaukee at 4, Cincinnati at 3, Pittsburgh at 2, and St. Louis at 1, with St. Louis winning the division and Pittsburgh making the playoffs. National League East Division, Miami. Oh gosh, I think enough has been said about the ineptitude of that team, so I'll just leave it be. They're going to finish last in this division. Philadelphia is struggling. I don't understand how Philadelphia is struggling. I feel like, maybe I'm being like a little bit too 2 or 3 years ago, but I remember Philadelphia was the team to beat in the National League. They had the best starting pitchers. Ryan Howard was doing okay. This shortstop, can't think of the dude's name. I'll punch myself after thinking about it because it just not coming to my head. But he was an excellent player. I'm surprised Philadelphia is where they're at. The Mets are always just at that middling 75 to 85 wins. I mean, they'll be there for the rest of their lives. I'm gonna put the Nets. I don't have a lot of good stuff to say about them, although I'm sure some baseball fanatics do. I like their I forgot who their pitcher was, like Harvey something that made it to started the All-Star game. He's the bright spot on this team. But other than that, I don't really know how much I can say intelligently about them. Washington. I think Washington is so overrated. I don't know. I tend to like teams that... I tend to like baseball being the way it always was, like in 2005, or at least in my understanding. The Yankees and the Red Sox battle for the East every year. The Angels automatically win the West, and the Tigers and the Twins fighting it out every year in the Central Division. I liked it when Kansas City was terrible. I liked it when Washington was terrible. I liked it when Miami was terrible. The Cubs were bad. I don't know. I tend to like things the way they once were, but unfortunately that's not the case. And I have never been able to shake the image of the Nationals as the epitome of league ineptitude. I don't know. I just cannot get past the Nationals. Even with Bryce Harper, even with Steven Strasburg, I just cannot get behind them. So I'm not going to put them all the way down, but they're not going to be where they were last year. Atlanta's going to win the division again. I think Jason Hayward leads the team into a great division, so I think a great win in the division. So I think the scores are Miami, New York Mets, Washington, Philadelphia, Atlanta in the National League, with, of course, Atlanta making the playoffs. And now talking about the playoffs, I'm looking at a Pittsburgh versus, San Francisco. I'm taking Pittsburgh in that wild card game. They'll play against St. Louis. Oh, no, St. Louis will be the 1 seed. Yeah, they'll play against St. Louis. St. Louis wins it from there. In the other division of the National League, the Dodgers play in Atlanta. I'm taking the Dodgers. Then I'm picking St. Louis against the Dodgers in the NLCS to go to the World Series. That's my quick run through of the National League. Let's go to the American League. And you know what? Instead of going West, Central, East, we're going to go West last because I love the Angels and they need to be talked about as much as possible. And not even as much as possible, just I'd love to conclude the show with something I'm pretty passionate about. So let's talk about the East Division. Toronto looked like they were going to be the team that was going to take it to the next level last year. Unfortunately, they're them and the Angels are kind of the proof that you can't pay big dollars to get into the playoffs the next year. Toronto was the middling last place team in the division, and no surprise to that. I'm going to put Toronto. Toronto's not going to do much this year. The Yankees, I think the Yankees, they were at 85 and 77. They're better than that this year. They're the New York Yankees, so they'll find some ways to win. Teixeira will play a little bit more. Jeter will be on fire because it's his last year, so the Yankees will be better than last year. Baltimore, same thing. I have the same feelings, not the exact same feelings, but I feel for Baltimore the same way that I feel for the Washington Nationals. I just don't think they're as good as their record shows. I think that they'll fall a little bit later. Tampa Bay is pretty decent every year. I'm pretty sure they'll be in the mix for the division win. And Boston won 97 games last year, best team in baseball. So I like them a lot. I'm going to put Boston winning the division. The Yankees at 3, Tampa Bay at 2, Baltimore at 4, and Toronto at 5. And you know what? I'm going to put actually I'm not. I don't like this team as much as I like the other teams. So I'm going to say that in the West or in the AL. So let's go to the Central. White Sox, Minnesota, Kansas City, Cleveland, Detroit. Let's start with the White Sox. Don't know how this team won 63 games last year. I think they're better than they're showing. I'm thinking this is a 70 win team. Minnesota again. Minnesota's just been terrible. 27 games back out of the Tigers in the Central Division with 66 wins and 96 losses last year. I don't see much getting better. In fact, I almost see them getting worse. I think Minnesota will probably be the worst team in the league again this year with 62 wins. It's my prediction for Minnesota. Kansas City, I don't know how this team won 10 more games than it lost last year. In my mind, Kansas City is the doldrummer. They're just not able to do much of anything in that league. I don't know how they're putting stuff together, but unfortunately for all my, again, I'm wary of the fact that I'm speaking to a Springfield audience as I'm, online, as my girlfriend's filming me as I do this. So I apologize, Springfield. Kansas City's not going to be doing so well this year, but most of you don't care. You guys just care about the Cardinals anyway, so you guys are all right. Cleveland gets the Japanese guy. I can never pronounce his name, like Sensu Chu or whatever. I can't pronounce it. Baseball fanatics are screaming at me, but I don't think he's as good as they end up being, and so I think they're going to follow Detroit, best team in the division. I think they'll win the Central Division this year, and so I'm going to say Detroit, Cleveland, Kansas City, White Sox, and Minnesota. West Division, best division in baseball. I think everyone in this division improved last year. Houston, 51, 111 losses. Houston's not going to do anything different this year, but they'll reach the 60-win mark this year. Seattle, of course, picked up Robinson Cano, but I've told you guys what I think about free agent signings. I don't think that much is going to change for Seattle. They might get to 80 wins this year and be meddling around 500. The Angels, oh gosh. Well, yeah, Angels need to be winning a lot more games than they've got. They've got Albert Pujols, Josh Hamilton, Mike Trout, 3 of the best hitters in baseball. And I think this is the year that Pujols puts it all together. I think Hamilton starts to find out his swing, and I think Mike Trout continues being the best player in baseball. And their pitching staff will probably all even out as well this year with some good free agent signings. So I think the Angels will probably win about 90 games this year. Texas, of course, will win 90 games, and they'll probably win a few more because Prince Fielder's awesome. They'll get 95. Oakland A's are going to win 93 this year. Because the A's just play Moneyball to the best of their ability. So Houston's going to finish the last in this division. Seattle's going to finish 4th. Angels are going to finish 3rd. Texas is going to win the division. Oakland's going to win the other wild card, and so the Angels are going to win the other wild card. Oakland and the Angels will play. Oakland's probably going to win that game, but I'm going to say the Angels are because they're awesome. So the Angels will play Detroit in the playoffs. The Angels will beat Detroit because the Angels, again, are just really awesome. And Miguel Cabrera will just have nothing to say about anything. Oakland will lose to Boston. It will be the Angels and Boston. The ALCS Angels will win, of course, because they're the best team in baseball. And finally, the Angels will play, who did I choose? Doesn't even matter. The Angels will beat them. St. Louis. Oh, to all my Springfield listeners, how you guys will cry at the end of the World Series because the Angels will just take you to town. All right, that's it. You heard it from myself, my friends. The Angels are going to win this division this year. Thank you guys for listening to the Big Toe Sports Show on this broadcast. I've got, 2 minutes left for Baba Yetu. So, again, I'm going to give you guys a quick, 2-minute segment of an African, or not an African, well, it is African, a Swahili rendition of the Lord's Prayer, and I just like it a lot, and I think it's weird to listen to on the radio, so people will turn it on and say, what in the heck is this? So, I don't know. Well, I'm just mixing it up today on the Big Toe Sports Show. You got my word. Again, this is KUCA Conway, and enjoy yourselves for the rest of today. Oh, shoot. Here we go.